Hey everyone, it's Nico here with a brand new early access release on Steam. Day one early access is today at the time of recording this. It's called Asgard's Fall. This is a survivors-like game. I know what you're thinking. Another survivors-like. Hey, I'm not the one making the games here. It's not my fault that everything that looks interesting to me lately is a Survivors-like or a Metroidvania. But if you like the genre, then I'm sure you're pleased with the content lately. If you're new here and you're not familiar with me, I cover a lot of different indie games here on my channel. So make sure to smash the subscribe button. I would appreciate it. And so let's get into what Asgard's Fall actually is. So like I mentioned, it's an early access release. This is the first day of early access, so I thought it was going to be pretty bare, but honestly, it's really not. There's currently already 4 different levels that you can play. You're only going to see 2 of them here in this video because unfortunately the first boss on level 2 is ridiculous in terms of difficulty, and I just have not been able to overcome that challenge just yet. I'm a little bit frustrated, but I'll get back into it and give it another try here in the future. There's also 3 playable characters. They each have their own skill trees, there's abilities, there's a whole bunch of permanent and run-specific upgrades that you can tinker with. There's a lot of different systems here. There's a lot going on, and the first thing that I'm going to mention is they don't have like any story in the game. This is a gameplay-focused game. So if you're here for story, you're not going to find any. That's not typically what you get in these types of games. But it also doesn't really do a good job of teaching you its fundamentals. So if you're a veteran of the genre, you're fine. You'll know exactly how this plays, exactly the flow of the gameplay, and you'll be fine. If you're new to the genre, you're going to have to figure some things out or just look them up, because nothing is really explained, and there's still some confusions to me. For example, there's these runes that sometimes drop from enemies that you can pick up, and if I click the right thumbstick in, I bring up this inventory screen, and they have stats, and I could dematerialize them, but I don't get the stat buffs, and other than getting materials, I don't know what these runes do. So I don't know if this is a system that I have not unlocked yet, or maybe this is character specific, since I've only played as the first character. I don't really know what's going on here, and like I said, it's not really explained. So the main gist of the game is you just move around, you eliminate enemies, you level up, you choose different upgrades. You ultimately are trying to create the best possible build to succeed in surviving the entirety of the level. Now, the levels, from what I can tell, are 20 plus minutes long. At the 10-minute and 20-minute mark, you will encounter boss fights. And if these take you too long, like for example, the 10-minute boss, if it takes you too long, it's possible you can bleed into the second boss. I came pretty close to doing this. I don't know if maybe the second boss won't spawn until you eliminate the first. That might be the case, but it took me like a pretty long time to kill the bosses at first. But these types of games, you're meant to die, you're meant to try again and again and again, and this game succeeded wonderfully at sinking its hooks into me. In just less than 24 hours, I've already sank in 4 hours. So to say I'm having fun and a bit addicted would be an understatement. There's something about the upgrade systems here that are just really interesting and different to me. And you can have a few different weapons. Your characters all start with one that doesn't count towards the ones you pick during your run. But there's so many different things going on here, and there's a lot of strategy to it, because there is this node system during your runs, and however you slot your upgrades into these nodes greatly affects how powerful you can be. Placing these just willy-nilly will not result in you being very powerful at all, whereas being very strategic with your choices and your rerolls and putting these to get the best possible upgrades and bang from your buck means you could be stupidly OP. Now here, I was insanely powerful, but like I mentioned, that first boss on level 2 can one-shot you. and I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but I'm getting one-shotted every single time during this boss fight. And the bosses are a bit spongy, so don't expect to just chunk them down in about 2 seconds. I mean, maybe you can come up with a build better than me and you will chunk them down, but I haven't been able to do that. But the overall game is just so addicting to play. You're constantly making progression, and there's even still a lot of things you can unlock, even though this game is incredibly early in its development cycle. Some of these you won't unlock until after you clear the first level for the first time. And for me, the first time I was able to clear the initial level, it took skill to do so. I don't quite think I was powerful enough. Obviously, if you keep failing, you're going to constantly be able to upgrade your skill tree, and it will increase your odds. You're also always learning what the new abilities are, which ones are the best to work with which, and how to kind of synergize these into a good build. One thing, though, that I don't like how they have it presented so far is there's a compendium. And in the compendium, it shows you different abilities, and if you have 2 abilities that synergize with one another and you get them both to level 5 on a run, it will create like an ultimate ability that will then stack on top of your build, and these are really powerful. Now the problem here is that in the compendium, in the hub area, it doesn't tell you what the abilities are, it just shows you the icons. And then the other part of this that is a huge issue, and I really hope that they fix this or add this like ASAP, is put the compendium in the pause menu when you're in the middle of a run. Like, I can't remember what the compendium is showing. I know I can technically screenshot it, pause the game, and look at it, but I shouldn't have to do that. Add the compendium to the pause menu, please. My complaint with the compendium and the first boss on level 2 being insanely difficult with its really cheap one-shot are honestly my only 2 complaints so far. Yeah, it's lacking some variety in music and stuff like that, and elements of it are incredibly basic, but that's just par for the course for the genre. But the only other thing I can really think of is that unlocking the second and third character have pretty insane requirements. I did manage to unlock the second character, but have not played them yet. But after 4 hours of playtime, I'm still only on level 2, and I still only have 2 of the characters so far, so progression seems to be a bit slow going. If you are not patient and you don't like to grind, I think this game's going to require some grinding, at least currently, because it is really difficult. Now, one thing I haven't mentioned yet is that this game doesn't auto-aim for you like Vampire Survivors does, but there is an option to have it do this. This is how I played, because there's so much going on screen. It's just easier for me to focus on moving and dodging versus moving and aiming at the same time. I just like these to be more relaxing games where, yeah, it's chaotic, but I'm just focusing on one thing, like kind of mindless type of experience. And I'm glad that that option is there. Day 1 of early access, there is plenty of content here. The game is $7 if you pick it up full price. It will be more expensive in the future when it fully launches. I think they're aiming for mid-2026, so we're at least a full year away. And this is definitely a game that I'm enjoying enough where I'm going to keep checking in on it. So expect me to cover this again at least a few times in the future to check in and see how they're doing. And who knows, I might even make a video where I showcase a bunch of different Survivors likes that are a lot of fun. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, let me know in the comments below, because I enjoy doing videos like that, and I've played quite a few Survivors like games, especially in the last year. But Asgard's Fall is a really fun one. Yes, it's an early access. If you don't like that, add it to your wish list, check in on it later, see how it's panning out. But it's definitely worth the money here day 1, and I'm having a blast with it. Appreciate you watching this preview for Asgard's Fall. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And if you have, hey, appreciate you being here. Also, make sure to comment below if you have any comments, I guess, on anything I covered in this video. Am I missing something? If there's any tips you can give me on that boss on level 2, if you've already played this, let me know, because I haven't figured out how to tackle that one attack that just manages to one-shot me every single time so far. And maybe I'll try the second character. Maybe I'll have a better time there, or maybe I won't. Who knows? Skill tree is not upgraded, so odds are I probably won't. But anyways, appreciate you watching. Hope you all have a good day, and I'll see you next time.